Hey folks, welcome to my lifting series where I perform and record every single set and rep that I possibly can of my individual workouts. Today is week 1, day 4 of my Max training program. You guys can get the program in the description for $10, but full disclosure, you do not need the program at all. All these videos are obviously free, so you guys can follow along and run the program alongside me if you want, or you could just use these as entertainment, however you want to go about it. But anyways, today, I don't know if you can see this, but we're starting with the chest supported T-bar row. This is one of the few movements I decided to keep from my last program that I just finished, Hypertrophy 1.0. I just love this movement so much, and I still feel like I still had some juice left in the tank, so to speak. Like, I feel like I didn't get as much out of it as I fully could. Like, it didn't reach its full potential before that program ended. So whenever you run into that predicament, I think that you guys should keep doing the movement. So that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm including it into Max as well. And today I'm going from 110 to 115. So it's 2 plates and a 25. Let's get into the first set. Something that I quickly want to add right before I jump into it is with this particular lift, I'm actually including some like shrugs at the very end just so that I get in some more trap volume. And on day 1 of this week, we did the Smith machine bent over row, and then I did shrugs at the end. So that was getting the upper traps, and this one's going to be more of a horizontal thing. So we're actually going to get more mid traps. I think that was, it's kind of a nice addition to get a little bit of both. But anyway, just going to do it. Aiming for at least 6. Okay, I'll take it. We got 10 repetitions there, then 5 of the shrugs. So I think that that's pretty good, especially considering I'm going up after a little deload. Can I go? Unload. I don't put my on my back, writing on my name on the shoulder. There's one little tidbit that I'm trying to reinforce in myself on every single repetition when I perform this particular lift. That's that I'm fully retracting my scapular blades at the very top, and then I'm protracting them at the very bottom. And that's just gonna create not only a peak contraction in your whole back, but also a very, very stretched out position as well. So you're gonna be getting the best of both worlds when you're doing this. And I know that when it gets harder, that's a very, very challenging thing to reinforce and remember. But at least for me, I'm just trying to do my best. I know that not every rep is going to be perfect like that, especially towards the end, but that's just a part of the process. Definitely feels a lot more unnatural to do shrugs in this position rather than like a vertical upright shrug. But I still think that I'm getting out of it, so I'll continue it. So I'm actually breaking some rules with this next one because I'm supposed to get into the other major compound multi-joint lift which is the incline dumbbell bench press to really focus on the clavicular head of the chest. However, the T-bar row is right here, and then the lat pull down is right here, and the free weight section is a little busy. So I'm gonna break some rules and I'm gonna get right into this one instead. So I'm gonna skip that for now. Don't worry, I'll get back to it. Sometimes it's just more convenient to do it a different way, and it just works better. So ideally this wouldn't be happening, but I'm gonna do it. And also, I'm sure you guys noticed, but I am switching from the conventional lat pull down into this variation, which is the bar attachment is different. You know, this is the neutral grip instead of the conventional grip. I just always like this grip more, so it's nice to get back to old favorites. We're doing 145 instead of 135. And then forgot to read it, but it's actually a drop set, so I'm gonna drop down to 85. Continue as quickly as I can. Putting straps onto a handle like this is a pain in the ass, let me tell you. That's the one detriment. Oh, another detriment is that it's hard for me to get a full range of motion. I'm a taller individual, so it's difficult to get fully down because these handles by nature are further down than like the traditional frick. You have to change the weight back. Anyway, what I was saying was the regular handle, just the bar, it has like a slight bend to it, but this one has a huge bend, as you can see, so it's harder to get a full range of motion. Anyway. Ooh. Okay. So I got 8 for the drop set last time, 85. Let's get it again. A large part of me wanted to just speed run with that drop set. However, I managed to catch myself and kind of take a break there, then get back to it. All right, so instead of doing the same exact machine bench press that I did on day 1, I want to break up the monotony right now. Every single other movement pattern only has one exercise in that week. They could be similar, like I may be doing a bilateral push down and then I might do a unilateral on a different day. So they're similar, but they're not completely different. And how I had it programmed was that it would be flat twice, so like the same machine twice. If you guys have a different flat bench press machine, then by all means do that, but this gym only has one in this location, so I am actually opting to do the incline variation instead, just so that I'm not doing, it just doesn't feel right to me to be doing like one of the exercises the same twice in a week, and then everything else is just once. It just doesn't seem right, and it seems like that just seems a little bit boring to me. So I'm still doing long length partials. It's still machine press, except this one has a slight incline to it, and it feels a little bit different. So anyway, I'll be sticking to this machine press on day 4 of each week. So wow, that felt fantastic. I'm doing the exact same weight as the last day of hypertrophy 1.0, the last push day of hypertrophy 1.0. And I'm doing it with relative ease. I do the same amount of reps, except I got 5 long length partials at the end too. And I mentioned this before, but if you guys don't know what a long length partial is, it's just a regular partial rep, but it's specifically at the most lengthened position. So for the chest, that would be down here where it's the most stretched. And then up here would be the shortened position because it's the most contracted. So it's just adding more time under tension in the most stretched part of the lift. And, you know, that's the most hypertrophic. So okay, I rested a couple minutes, so I'm good to go again. Let's get it. That was a good one. You know what was going through my mind right there? It's completely unrelated, which is so funny. Well, I guess it's not completely unrelated because it is about lifting, but lifting has got to be like the longest sport. You know what I mean? Like in football or basketball or something, you'd be like conditioning the whole time, a lot less breaks, and the conditioning would be way different. With lifting, we literally just, all there is to it really, besides like some careful programming, is just push as hard as you can, push until you can't push anymore, or pull, and then take a rest until you're ready and you feel like you want to go again. That's it. Rinse and repeat. Super, super simple. And then of course, like, it gets technical when you're doing technical movements, but you know, anybody can learn lifting. It's just kind of funny to me. Next, I'm doing the seated, like plate loaded lat pull, unilateral style. So I'm just doing one arm at a time. And I actually kind of like this one because you're doing it supinated. So your hand is like facing you, your palm is facing your face. And whenever you're doing something supinated, you're instantly gonna be involving some bicep, because one of the functions of the bicep is to supinate the arm. So it's just kind of a nice twist versus like the regular lat pull that I normally do. You're keeping your hand neutral, so you're not getting your bicep as much. And then on top of that, it's just a new movement for me, at least. Like, I mean, I've obviously done this movement, but it's new for me to program it. We're doing it unilateral, of course. I'm gonna try and keep my torso as rigid as possible. I'm a little bit fried at this point, so keeping it at 10. Especially like this movement, because you really feel you're so stable, you're so locked into place that you can truly just focus on contracting your lat and only focusing on that. It's even more stable than the seated lat pull that I was doing last week, where you're seated in your chest and like against the pad. It's even more stable than that because your knees are locked in place. I completely forgot to do my cheat reps, so that's my bad. I'm supposed to be doing cheat reps at the end of each set on each arm, but oh well, I'm just gonna have to do it on this one and really try my hardest. I don't know if you guys are the same way, but like I'll give everything I have to a workout, and then when I get home 30 minutes later, I'm like, ah, crap, I could have given more. And I'm just trying to remind myself that while I'm actually in the workout to give it my all. I mean, maybe there is no topping hindsight. I don't know. People say hindsight's 20/20. I don't really know how that pertains to lifting, but it feels like it does in some way. Fuck.
You never cared about me, you just care about the lifestyle. Every time you pop up, you smoke with the high roll. Now all I can raise a bus go. Out in the ground, which is clouds. It's just me.
All right, guys, I'm officially cycling back around. This was supposed to be the second lift of today. It's the incline dumbbell bench press. I'm actually choosing like a 30-degree incline instead of like the conventional 45, because since I did the like more incline machine press, I think it's better to have it more closer to flat than closer to like a shoulder press. I don't know, it just makes sense to me anyway to kind of try and hit an all-around chest workout, like get every portion of the chest instead of just the clavicular part of me head. Of course, when if you're just hitting like incline bench press, you're going to be getting the whole chest, but to what degree are you going to be getting the bottom portion and the mid portion? Not as much as you may want. So I think that including a little bit of everything is a good idea at the end of the day, as long as you're not overdoing it and messing with your recovery. Because if you can't recover, you can't grow and you can't get stronger. So that's just kind of the way that I see it when I'm programming and whatnot. You guys don't know how much I'm lifting. I'm lifting 80 pounds on each arm. I got this for 10 and then 8, 8, and 8 for the final day of Hypertrophy 1.0. So I'll be attempting to hit those metrics. I don't know if I can, because the last time I led with this exercise, and now I'm doing it towards the ending half of the day. So not really an ideal exercise order, but I already mentioned why I chose to do it this way. And I don't regret it. It's working out fine. Oh man. I'm really happy with that. I got 10, and I don't even know if you would call those partials. I tried to get some long length partials at the end. I tried my best. I barely got even an inch, but you know what? We'll take it. I'm going to attempt to make those partials more worthwhile on the second set and on the third, but I'm trying it right now. Okay, I want to count that as 4 partials and 7 full range of motion repetitions. That's definitely not ideally what I want. I would much prefer to hit 10 or something, but considering that I'm doing this lift towards the latter half of week 1, day 4, I kind of deserve it, I chose convenience over the optimal exercise order. So, if the gym weren't as busy, I would have done it the proper way. But since there's a decent amount of people here, I decided to take the easy way out, so to speak. Next time, we're gonna do it the right way for sure. Definitely gonna make it a point to stick to the exercise order, because I programmed it that way with the intention of the, recovery and rest periods, and, where I wanted us to be strongest versus, for example, I have all the compound lifts in the beginning, isolation stuff towards the end. I don't just program that in for no reason, guys. So anyway, let me know if I'm talking too much about the program. I don't want to bore you guys or something. This is supposed to be me sharing my journey, and the journey isn't all about the program. The journey is more so about me improving my technique, helping educate you guys and all that stuff. Have you guys ever noticed that it's always the people that don't actually lift weights that get injured? Unless, the person is getting injured from a specific lifting like movement, and they weren't using proper form at all. Like a lot of lifters injure themselves off of like deadlifts because they're maxing out and being stupid. But how often do you see somebody that lifts weights and is serious about it, so they lift pretty often, get injured outside of being stupid in the gym? Almost never. I feel like it's always the people that are sedentary that end up hurting themselves. I think that that's just another reason to be lifting weights. We already know that lifting is like better than SSRIs for depression, super good for anxiety, you know, good for offsetting cognitive decline and brain issues later on in life, but also like sarcopenia, where you actually start losing muscle mass. It's good for preserving that, and bone density and all these things, all these aging things. It's so good for preventing that, and like a mood stabilizer and a confidence booster. I don't know, I think about that a lot. Anyway, next up, I'm doing the unilateral cable lat press down. So last time I did it bilaterally like this. Today we're doing it unilaterally. Again, it goes back to a nice little change in variation without changing the movement too much. I'm going across the body to get a further range of motion, and then I'm holding on to something to increase stability. In this case, it's the machine itself. People will probably ask me why there's more chest volume. Why do I do, sorry, I completely misspoke there. Why I do more back volume than chest volume. And that's easy. It's because, for one, you don't want your chest to be overdeveloped before your back, because then you're gonna cause like concave and back posture. Strong back muscles pull back your scapula and everything, and secures a more confident and superior posture. It'll offset injury. So that's one reason. But number two is that there's just more muscles in the back. Your chest is just 3 heads, you know? The back has so much more going on. You gotta hit it in a lot different ways, but that doesn't mean that my back training is harder than my chest training. It just has a little bit more volume. It has one extra exercise of 2 sets, that's it. You'll see that I'm trying to do the full range of motion here. And I also took off this dumb handle because they kept flailing around and getting in my way. Anyway, next up we're doing, you notice again, last time we did unilateral chest fly, now we're doing bilateral. Really just focusing on squeezing it this way. Gonna hold the stretch for a second, really feel it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the last superset for our, what do you call it? Our upper body of this day. After this, I'm gonna get into some calf work because I'm trying to up the calf frequency because I think that it can handle it. So I'm doing calves 3 times a week. We did it on day 1. We did it on day 2. And now we're doing day 4, and we'll do it again on day 6. 2, 4, 6. That's 3 times a week. And honestly, they're ready to go. Oh, fuck. Definitely gonna be feeling this in my lats tomorrow, that's for sure. But that's okay with me. I'm trying to, I think that my lats are a little bit lagging behind my upper bodies, the rest of my upper body. So working on bringing it up. My hand keeps slipping. Unacceptable. Okay. Let's hammer out these chest flies. I really love doing like a free weight press and then a machine press and then a fly of some sort for the chest. Such a killer trio. Just gonna hang out here because this is as stretched as my chest is gonna get under weighted terms. All right, let's hit calves. Okay, folks, I'm here on the seated calf raise machine, the soleus raise to be exact, because it barely hits the gastroc. It's the two heads of the calves, in case you guys didn't know. Anyway, I'm going from 130 to 140 pounds, and the way I'm adding this up is just, I'm only adding up the actual weights on here. So 45, that's 90, and then 25, that's 50, so a total of 140. So this is a 10-pound jump from last time. But the way I'm kind of rationalizing this little jump is that I worked up, I don't know if you guys ran it or not, but I worked up to 20 sets for the calves in week 4 of Hypertrophy 1.0, my last training program. And then I took a week off. So I accumulated all that volume and I still was able to hit 130. Now that the fatigue has been completely, or at least for the most part, depleted from my system, so I'm pretty rested up, I should be pretty compensation should be involved to the point where my strength has probably gone up as well. The volume was probably keeping my strength down, and now that I'm rested and we're going back down in volume from that 20 sets to 14 for this week, this should be a cakewalk, I believe. But there's only one way to find out, that's to do it. Oh yeah, I got it. Well, I'm not going to say that was easy. It's definitely like a challenging weight, but it's doable. And that's what you want. You want challenging, but manageable or doable. You know, that's how you grow. And honestly, this is just living proof that I've gotten stronger. And guys, a muscle that's stronger is bigger too. They're correlated. They're very, very heavily correlated, especially when you've been eating enough food. It is possible to get stronger without getting bigger, but you're going to be adding at least a little bit of tissue, at least on the microscopic level, because they're inseparable. They're very tangled, you know? So anyway, I'm not going to rest long before hitting the other one. And I'm actually going to do the last exercise off camera because it's a little bit boring to watch. It's the unilateral standing dumbbell calf raise. I did a bunch in the previous program. It's one that, alongside this one, I've decided to keep. Because honestly, like, how many calf variations are there? You know, a calf is just plantar flexion of the ankle joint. You know, you're just pressing down with your toes, or up with your heel, and that's the function. So like it's like a bicep curl. Like how many different versions can you do? So you can like move your body around, which is the same thing that you do with a calf raise. You know, you go from seated to standing to anywhere in between. But at the end of the day, it's a calf raise, it's a bicep curl, it's a tricep extension, you know. So there's only 4 good ones that I have access to, at least at the top of my head. And that's why I've chosen to include all of them into this program. Keep that variety fresh, you know. Okay, last set on camera. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys are following along, whether you purchased the program or not. I'd rather have you guys follow along than not, whether it means buying it or that didn't even make any sense. You guys know what I'm trying to say. Anyway, have a good one, folks. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you tomorrow for day 5 of week 1. Week 1, day 5. Later.